Hello, future millionaires and billionaires. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the Investor Chair. And today we are back at Afrimat and we are talking to the big man himself. We are going deep into understanding the human side of this company. For those who have watched my previous video where I was talking about my top 5 JSE listed companies to pick for 2022, Afrimat was one of them. And I gave a lot of reasons behind that, talked about the project they have, the strategies, the leadership. And now with this interview, I want to look at the leadership of the company. Because myself as a retail investor, I'm putting a huge amount of money into this company. So we need to know the leaders behind it, their stories, and understand them. And also your investment portfolio for what you have. So, without wasting any time, guys, please do ensure hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on notification bell to get notified every brand new video I drop on my channel. And thank you so much for the 13,000 subscribers. Let's get to 15,000 and 20,000 right now. Sir, welcome to the Investor Chair and welcome to my YouTube channel.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you for hosting me.
Now, I don't like to introduce people. I don't like giving my understanding of who you are. I want you to explain and define yourself the way you want to introduce. So, who's the big man behind Afrimat, behind the human side of Afrimat, basically?
Well, I don't know if big man is the right way, but anyway, my name is Colin Ramukubati, and I'm one of the executive directors in Afrimat. And I've been with the company since 2009. I'm a married guy with 2 children and love family, and that's me. I don't know if any more things you'd like to know.
I love that to keep it simple and not complicated. Before that, I had an interview with the CEO, I had an interview with the CFO, and one thing that I always wanted when I talk about Afrimat is look at the human side. Well, that's the one thing that made me interested in putting my money there. I'm a student, and after all, so I'm earning a little bit of 100 rand there. I'm buying shares of Afrimat because of the people behind it, the leadership.
Yeah.
So today I want to understand the leadership, your story on how you got into Afrimat. Let's start there. How you discovered Afrimat. Let's start there. How did you discover it?
Well, I mean, I can say, some people say it's coincidence, but I know from my side, I know it's divine intervention. We think we plan our path, but somehow God has a way of ending up putting us where we be. But just to take it few steps back, I mean, I'm a guy from Davidton. Up in Gauteng and grew up there, township boy. And until matric, I was always been in Davidton. I never knew there was a bigger...
There was Cape Town.
Exactly. And when I finished my studies, matric, which it was an interesting journey. I had to stay home for a year before I could continue with my studies. And literally what I did is mechanical engineering at the Technicon. One of the reasons I chose the Technicon, I can tell you now, was purely because of how quickly was I going to get paid.
You wanted the money.
That's the way how we do things in always. You know, you grow up in a family where you're struggling and the pressure from your mom to say, when are you going to get to work? You know,
must play a role.
And therefore, I had to figure out what's the best job that gives better salary, but at the same time getting paid quickly. So this is how I chose to study at Technicon, because I knew that I will only do 2 years of full time and then have in-service training, which you start getting paid a little bit, and then go in and work. So I did study at Vets Technicon at the time. It's UJ now, I think.
Yeah, it's UJ.
And then after that, joined a company called Basel Reed, which is a construction company. And I got sent in Botswana to learn a bit of mining there. I came back and then joined one of our oppositions at the moment, which is AfriSam. And then I was there until 2005, actually. 2006, I then had the opportunity to join a family business here in Cape Town, which I thought it was going to be a great venture where I will take over that business. Came down 2006 and then it didn't work out. Let's just say our values didn't align and we clashed for the 3 years, eventually until then I joined Afrimat as a quarry manager in 2009. And then since then I've just moved up the rank in Afrimat, and today that's where I am today.
And it's an amazing story, man, from township in Gauteng to now sitting one of the biggest companies to see in South Africa and one of the most proud South African brands to see. And now let's look into your idea of Afrimat and where you see it. Because with the passion, I said the passion behind the company. If you even go to Twitter, you go to LinkedIn, you look into what people say is the human side of this company. And you are a driving force behind that. So when you came in, especially now in the position you hold, what made you say, I want to build this company and create a culture around it? What was the mindset behind that? What was the thinking behind that when it took into that position?
Yeah, so obviously when I joined Afrimat, the more I started engaging the leadership, I started more realizing that this is a company that my values align with. So I didn't have to force my values or to change who I am to fit into the company. And somehow it was almost a seamless weaving, a culture of humility, integrity, of, hard worker. We don't like bureaucracy. We just want to go out there and do the best we can, And mostly in the environment where we were in Afrimat or in the country, especially in the mining sector, you will know that we had a season where there's a lot of corruption, stuff happening, and I strongly believe that's not the route, and that's the same sentiments we had, with our CEO and the other directors, and that's like really made it easy for me to be part of Afrimat. So in a way, I just feel like I leave home in the morning, I come to my other home because I just continue with my, with my values, and we're doing that, and for the fact that things are, the company is being successful, it's proving that we can actually do things, with integrity, and you can still be successful. You don't need to take shortcuts to be successful.
And then the reason I ask that question is because most of the time people say Afrimat does not deal with the typical guys on the street. Why is everyone talking about Afrimat? And I think that's the one thing that the companies hold itself to a level of integrity that the average people on the streets who are downloading Easy Equity, buying shares, want to invest into this company, even if they don't directly know what product this company produces or whatever product produce will impact them, but because of the way they've upholded themselves, they've earned the trust of the public. Now let's look into the investment side a little bit. Let's look into the investment side of a little bit of yourself before you go into Afrimat, everything yourself and where you stand. Investment, are you the retail type of a guy, investor that buy himself his shares, or are you a person that has a broker that invests for him on his behalf? Or
look, I think I've got a broker who look into that. But at the same time, we always clash with my broker because he always tell me how I must diversify my portfolio. And I struggle with that because I'm very biased to my company. And I think it's not a naive bias. I mean, I know the leadership. I have confidence in the leadership.
You're part of
not
the leadership.
myself, but the rest of the guys. And like I've said, we have the same beliefs. We want the same thing. And we believe that's the way it should go. And I know what's the plans going forward. Which for me, it doesn't make sense to really looking at the whole of other places at the moment. That's my opinion.
So do you define yourself as a conservative investor or aggressive investor?
Well, I think I'm getting to that age where I'm becoming more conservative. I regard myself as getting old at 49. But I regard myself that I need to start getting more cautious. But at the same time, the way we do things with my wife, so whenever we look at our portfolio or investments, we always have certain money, we call it, let's go and play with it, if I may use that language. If we lose all of it, it's okay. Not a big issue, especially for stuff that I don't understand, like the crypto
market
and stuff like that. So I wouldn't go and gamble too much there. But then the rest you rather have in stuff that's almost secured, which does not really, that's kind of thing,
In terms of, I can just say, put you on the spot and say, 3 companies out of Afrimat that, if you have 10,000 rand right now, divide between 3 companies, excluding Afrimat, South African-based companies, which are those 3 ones? That you say, yes, just 10,000 rand, 5,000 to this, 3,000 to that, 2,000 to that.
I'll struggle, I must be honest. I think the hindsight is always an easy way of looking at companies. But I always say, for me, I'm almost like a Warren Buffett kind of person. I like to look at stuff that I can feel, I can touch.
Yeah.
I still struggle to look at things that I cannot feel and touch. So look at the stuff that grows with the population.
Yeah, I see.
And says, look at that. But look at the people behind it. You know, I think it's important. Leadership or management that runs the companies, they are crucial part of it.
Important.
You know? And there's no such thing as the product itself will just make company rich, but you still need the right leadership to take the company to another level if they've got a good product or services to sell.
And that's true, especially when it comes to South Africa and how we invest South Africans. We are more looking into the community, we are more looking into the fundamentals of each company. We're more about to know what is behind, what are the people behind a specific company, what is their motive, what's their drive. And that's the culture around South Africans, the way they invest. I think that's what makes South African investment, the retail space as well, more different than when you go to other space. But now, when we're talking about people and looking into those type of things, what is the one thing for you in terms of investments that always motivates you? What's the one goal that you see? If I'm going to look into this company, I'm looking to Afrimat because of 1, 2, 3. Outside of leadership, what other things do you look into?
So I think, like I will look at Afrimat, what we're doing. I'll share with you some of the things that we're doing, and this is how I look at it. I mean, I believe strongly the triple bottom line, you know, like the ESG part of things. Obviously, I look after it in Afrimat. How the business engage the community.
True.
For me, that's crucial. I believe we are part and parcel of the community wherever we are. Some companies always want to isolate themselves to the community. You'll be naive to think that whatever you do have an impact, and it will have an impact back to you if you don't handle it. So we have a strategy. We have not a strategy. We are intentional about our relationships with our stakeholders. You know. So firstly, with the community, we have proactive engagement where we try to engage our communities before we even start a mine. We send our guys to go and physically understand the area. Like, who are the leaders of that community? You know, in our community, I mean, in South Africa, you've got extremes. You've got some communities where the tribal council is still influential in some areas.
Plays a big part.
Yeah. There's some communities where it's the councillors, it's the municipality that's sort of directing and leading. And then there's some areas where it's actually guys that are not even leaders, but just influential by nature in that community. So you need to understand those intricacies, and you need to start engaging them, and you need to understand. And you also share things like expectation of what our businesses can offer in the communities, because that's another problem. Most of our operations are quite small in nature. We don't have like a one big mine that employs 10,000 people, but we've got plenty. We've got over 40, 50, 45 mining rights where we're employing smaller people. So you need to
engage a small community
and be intentional and then share with them, guys, we can only offer so many jobs. We can only do this. Here's the stuff that we can offer. So that's the community side. The employees, the same story. You know, I believe you need to have a good relationship with your employee. I mean, our unions, again, we have a proactive approach with them. I mean, I'm proud to say, last year, for example, we haven't had any labor issues where there's been strikes or anything. You know, we haven't had that in a long time because we believe we have been proactive. Some of our wage negotiations are happening at the record time where within a day we've agreed. Because the guys trust us. You know, literally you go to the meeting, the guys say to us, listen, we're trusting you, just tell us what you're offering, we will take it back to our people. And that's the kind of relationship we have. You know, going back to the communities, there's a lot of community unrest as well, which really we haven't really had the area where we were affected heavily. So those are the things that I will check, and we don't just window dress start and say this is a nice wedding put on the wall. It's something we're intentional. We have teams going out there doing that. That's some of the things I look at into a company.
Because I had the opportunity to the space with the CEO, and he said how much of a passion you have for the community, and that plays a huge role how you function as an organization, because you lead that point of view, you lead that angle of the business. And now let's go back to you, because you come from Gauteng, you come from a township, you understand the struggle we have. We have black taxes to deal with, we have so much level of expectation. And when you take a company like Afrimat, you put in a community, you understand that people have the same expectation that you had when you're growing a township. And I love that you're putting out there. Now let's put that into going forward into some of the projects that Afrimat will be rolling out. Because that also plays a role in how productive your employees become. They see, take care of them where they stay. What's the one project right now that you're willing to share? Well, I know some you can't share. Some you can't share, but one project you guys are looking into some of the communities you're operating in, especially in Komati, man, was just acquired that. I think that's going to be a huge role. My cousin stays there, by the way. My cousin's from Komati. So, what's the one project that you can share that will help the community that you guys say, this is our innovation, this is a brand new thing we're putting in the market that will help us? Also, I think, I'm not sure if you guys have it, but I was looking into it last night. Also, share schemes for the community you operate in. You have it, right? Yeah,
we're busy working on that. So going back to, let's say, start with Nkomati now, you're absolutely right. When we took over Nkomati was in distress. It was not operating. It was not making money. And it was just before COVID and before the floods, if you remember. So those two things, if they happened without us being there, that mine would have been shut down completely. At the time we took over it, I think, as I said, it was not even operating. Maybe there was not even 100 people working there. That mine today is going to employ up to close to 400 people. That's a lot. We are busy planning to extend a hospital in that area that we're going to take part in the building. There's 2 community halls that we've already started working on, which we're going to be finishing in the short term for the other communities. We are making sure that we are skilling uneducated youth by giving them skills. I mean, we train beyond what we need so that there could be an opportunity for the guys to go beyond. So those are some of the things that we are definitely doing in various operations or in the new project. We've just busy with also iron ore ones that started last. I'll share obviously more what we started already, not what's probably still going to come.
Trouble.
I mean, there's a project where there was Olifants Hook community where there was no water. They have all this was a reservoir, but the community didn't have water at all. We got involved, obviously, with some other mining companies there where we've helped in the infrastructure, boreholes, and pumping water into the reservoir. And today we're proud to see those guys having access to water, which is a basic need.
Basic human right.
So we are doing the best we can in whatever legal we can. So those are some of the things that I'm proud to be part of it, giving back, because as you've said, I come from those areas. So,
you understand the struggle.
And it's such a joy when you're dealing with a company like I've emphasized, have the similar mindset. When you come up with those proposals, you don't get a no, or people say no, object, but we want to do something. We always extend ourselves, with us.
Because that comes back to the idea of nowadays a lot of responsibility has shifted away through what's happened in the country, corruption, everything. It shifts away from the public sector to the private, and you guys must play the role, because KZN was a good example of how the failure of the public sector impacted hugely in the private sector. And if a community trusts and love that particular business operates in their area, when such thing happen, they're willing to defend that particular business. They're willing to stand and protect it, because they understand that this business, losing it is us losing our livelihood, it's us losing our basic access to water. You said you've created water reservoir for a particular community. And that's the other thing as well. I think majority of corporate South Africa needs to understand that with the level, I know it's beyond our control what's happening in the public sector with governments and everything, but the role that's played by private sector, helping the small communities around you, is also protecting yourself and protecting the investment that you are making as a business. That's huge. Now, moving forward, because I said I don't want to take more of your time. Moving forward, what's the one thing you're looking forward in the next, such as in the next 5 years, 2 years in Afrimat, that you're willing to share? I don't want you to say something that people will take out of the blue without hype up the share price.
Look, I think what's really exciting about Afrimat is we are wanting to grow.
Yeah.
We're all excited being entrepreneurial in our spirit, if I may use that, regardless of which position you are operating at, but we all have the same vision. You know, we all, and I think Andries, the CEO, has shared this vision so well that it's easy for all of us to understand where we're going. We don't put ourselves shackles to limit ourselves where we're going. All we know is we keep on scanning the environment, looking at opportunities. Any opportunities that linked to Afrimat, we pound on them. And that's the strategy that's real. And it's so exciting to be part of that. I'm sitting in this position, I'm like, I can be in this role for the next 100 years. As long as the company is growing, it means I grow automatically in that role. And right now, that's where my focus is, you know. And just to play that role, making sure that supporting the whole business to be where we're going. I mean, we've shared some of the stuff that we are doing already. It's in the public with the Glenover project, where we're going to be doing rare earth minerals and also phosphate. This is kind of stuff that we're moving into what I call future minerals. You know, the division that we started, which really we are again continuing to say what's the trends, what are the how's the world going, and how do we make sure that we align with that. We don't want to be left behind. I mean, you know the saying that if you don't grow, you're actually dying. You know? There's no such thing as a constant in business. You can't. If you keep on producing the same thing every year, literally you are dying if you're not doing anything. So we don't believe in that, and it's a very it's like putting a 100-meter sprinter brakes to try and put brakes on them to say don't do more.
Don't do more.
I think most of us, that's who we are as a company, and it's quite an exciting space. I always joke, and I look at Afrimat now. I says almost like welcome to the early days of Afrimat. It might seem like we've now moved far, we've grown, but if I look at where this company is going, what's the potential? I feel like it can even go way beyond what it is. I mean, I want to be one day, I won't be alive probably in 100 years from now, but I want to be proud to say I was part of the foundation
of Afrimat.
You know, a company that's 16, 17 years old is not really that old in a bigger scheme of things.
Especially looking to mining with companies in here for so long.
Exactly. So we'll have to see in the next 50 years that this company has now in leaps and bounds grown to become one of the biggest. And making a difference in this country, and that's another thing. You know, business has a purpose, not just to make money. We have a moral conscience that we need to bring in the community. We need to lead by example. People are looking at us. People are expecting us to set an example and trends. And I think Afrimat is that company that's bringing that change, that difference in South Africa. You know, there's so much political nonsense, excuse my language, people timing politics and stuff, and we keep on talking about it, but let's just focus on growth. I always believe, you know, if you want to fix our problems of the country, let's make the cake bigger. Let's not fight about the
small cake.
That let's keep on recutting it. You know, it doesn't help. You know, example. Last week I was sitting at the conference, for example, with in the mining investment in the Northern Cape, and the biggest bottleneck there is Transnet. Transnet has got a capacity of moving iron ore, which is 60 million tons an hour, 60 million tons a year, and that capacity has been the same capacity for the last 20 years. Has not increased. Now, population is growing, demand is growing, all the stuff is growing, but that's still the same. Obviously, this will become a bottleneck as you go. And now people sit there and we keep on saying, but we need a piece, allocate for small business. And I'm saying, guys, we need to look at how to grow the cake. Because the bigger the cake, everyone will have a piece in there instead of just fighting for that cake. And that's the attitude I think
and that's so true, especially when it comes to trust. Well, I remember I was in another Twitter space when someone said, I think it was, what was it? Forgotten to talk about. It's about time also Transnet allowed privatization of the railway. Allow private companies to have their own trains moving out there. So I think that's the one thing you need to look at. Let's make the cake big, because fighting for the small one truly does not help. Now, moving forward, I know you already said the vision for the company aligns with you, the mission that you're on, especially for you, because you care much about the community, the staff member, the people around it. But for you individually, yourself, what is the plan in the next few years? What are you looking to do? Are you still, you said you're still happy with the position you hold, still happy to hold it for 100 years, and the Lord was blessing you with those years. What more do you plan to do? What more do you want individually outside of Afrimat? I was seeing you playing tennis in the Australian Open.
Oh my goodness, I'm too old for that. But I mean, maybe from a business side, for me, mentoring upcoming guys, I'm very excited. I was humbled by this morning as we speak. There's an email from an intern in one of our sites. I've never met him. And then he just sent me an email. He says to me, yes, Mr. Colin, I've been looking at you from a distance, and I admire you, where you are, and I want to be like you. How can I? So I was flattered, obviously, because I don't think I've done much, but these are the type of people I want to spend more time with. So part of our job, travel around the country, coach people, mentor people, and I just want to see more and more people, you know, flourishing, enhancing their talent, and flourishing in their talent. And that will be I believe the best gift I can leave behind. It's not making more money. Money, it's a hygiene factor, if I may use the language, but seeing what I do to individuals, you know, I come from that background. I needed someone to give me opportunities. Our CEO who believed in me, and some few guys before who trusted in me, giving me the opportunity and taking risk with me, and it's going to take the same with the other generations to come. And I think, again, Afrimat being growing, we will need more skills to see it growing even further. Like I said again, you know, I enjoy what I'm doing because Afrimat also, we try to make sure that people, they're at the right seat in the bus. You know that language that gets used by good to great Jim Collins, like make sure you don't just put people in the bus, but make sure that they're in the right seats, meaning align them with their strength, with what they enjoy doing. Because if you do what you enjoy doing,
you excel.
You don't feel like you're working any day at all. And that's why we enjoy coming to work in Afrimat. We enjoy being part of this because you're going to be doing what you enjoy. Right now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm working. I feel bad that I've been paid for what I'm doing, to be honest, because it feels like, you know, it's not really. But it's hard work. We work hard when we work, and there's times where we get there. But at the same time, we allow that atmosphere. I'm sure you've heard this tagline where in our culture we say we want to create an environment of joy and positivity. So we want to achieve all those things, but in an environment of joy and positivity.
And that's beautiful. That's because it allows for us, especially retail investors, because we are the guys that watch from afar, watch from a distance, and see what you guys are doing. And now to have a conversation from someone come from a township and be able to be in the position that you are, and also still giving back, still understand the humanity behind operating a business, understand the humanity behind mining and everything you do. Because for us, it makes us good. Because I always say this, even if I invest 10 Rand into Afrimat and buy 0.0 something shares, that's me voting, that's me believing in the vision of this company, because that's 10 Rand I work hard for, especially for people like my audience. Majority of my audience are people make us look shiny, and they're struggling, but they find time to subscribe to my YouTube channel, find time to 100 Rand, buy those shares, invest into this type of companies because they believe in the mission. And platform like this, having you sit down here and speak to us, speak to those people, it also opens up. Opens up the business, opens up their mindset, opens up what can we do outside of just sitting in Lushini. And that's why I say thank you so much for sitting down with us and speaking the story behind yourself, behind the company, and behind the investment that you make. As much as you didn't want to tell me the 3 companies, I still want to hold you. Just 3 companies that to pick the JSE. Don't show pride. Mr. Price, Absa, none.
Look, I mean, I think, as I said, it's the hindsight.
I'm not gonna push.
I mean, South Africa is full with some great entrepreneurs that we have seen over the years, the Shoprite, and that's why it's important to look at who's behind it more as well. You know what, and those are the companies that I think. I mean, I'm trying to.
You know what happened? I was able to place the CEO into a corner and he gave me an answer.
Yeah.
The CFO put him in a corner, gave me an answer. But I need to let you slide. Next time.
I'll tell you last year what I did. Yeah. And it's always the hindsight. And again, that's where you mustn't trust the brokers too much. It's funny because the brokers suggested the company, which I'm disappointed with what's happening there, which was obviously the NASPAS.
Yeah.
And I then chose to say, no, let me just play with PPC.
Yeah. Oh, I have PPC as well.
At the time, and I think, they are really fixing their business.
Oh, dear.
I think some few years ago, they overcapitalized. Yeah. They made a mistake by taking too many projects at the center, which is something we're very cautious with that as well. You know, even if you have the money to do 5 projects, doesn't mean that you have the executional capacity to do all the projects. So it's important to understand that it's really human capacity. Something we are very cautious. I know we can, most investors are really excited about Afrimat, like everything we touch seems like it's working, but we can get carried away and suddenly now wanting to do a whole lot of stuff. But we are very intentional to say, no. You can't do 2 big projects at the same time. I mean, you'll have heard from Peter as well, as if we will say, you know, we don't bet the farm, if you've heard that language. So we always take a small step. If it doesn't work out, then. So PPC, they've made that mistake, but it seems like they've corrected those few things. And with the possibility of projects, government projects, ramping up, which they've also put that, what you call a regulation
blocking
imports and stuff like that. I think they're in a good position there. And I think some commodity business, still some legs. I mean,
but you know what? I love what you're the first executive to sit with that mentioned crypto. You're the first one ever. So I'm happy because I'm young. So I love playing with crypto. I love Bitcoin. I'm a big fan of crypto. So for me, I'm like, okay, you're the first executive at least that says mention the word crypto. Because a lot of executives, they don't like.
But you heard me saying that it was like a pocket money. My wife says I can play with it.
But at least you mentioned it.
And I honestly don't have a clue what drive it.
But at least you mentioned it. I'm like, okay, you're the first one. I have such many executives, like from Renege's executive to Renege's executive. A little bit in that company we need to talk about it one day. But a lot of executives I've said would always mention. They don't mention it. So you're the first one to mention. So I'm proud of
that. Maybe just to share as well. Something that I'm a sort of I enjoy tech. I'm a curious guy. I believe I like to be. So the metaverse, I think it's something that I'm really curious. I haven't put money on it, but it makes me curious. You know, I like some small ideas, although I don't think it's good for society, to be honest, because it's encouraging people to be more lonely. That's my opinion. I mean, I think the idea of able to sit and have dinner with someone in another country, it's
groundbreaking. It's groundbreaking.
So I'm a bit curious about it. Maybe I haven't done anything there yet, but maybe it's something I must look into.
I love what I always like saying, why executives are so conservative, man? They always want to play safe, they don't want to move. You were mentioning Meta, crypto, like, okay, there's some growth there. But as I said, I really appreciate you taking time to sit down with me, talk about the journey behind Afrimat, yourself, some of the investments you make as well into where you see the company going. Because for us, it matters a lot. I remember I said the same thing to the CFO. I was like, for us, we don't have much. Majority of people that follow my YouTube channel, my Twitter account, they are average people. Most of them are students like me.
That's right.
They take their NSFAS allowance, they get 1.5 from NSFAS. Some of them take 200 rand per month, put into companies like you guys, trusting the leadership that you guys, you will do what you said you will do, you will perform the way you said you will perform, and you will grow. Because for them, taking a portion of their allowances, some of them come from poor backgrounds, but 200 rand, that would be money for food. But they're trusting you guys, and so you guys to avail yourself and speak about the projects you're doing, have a conversation with me. It's like the same conversation with them, actually. So thank you so much for that. I truly appreciate it. And I don't know what to say, but just thank you so much.
Thank you, Ivan. I think, look, we try to be accessible to every individual, regardless of how much they invest, where they come from. We really just want to be another average person, a typical South African who really wants to look after people's money like it's our money. And then that's the attitude we do. Even how we spend money in this company, we're really cautious about it. We care about the environment going forward. And please, if there's anyone who wants to engage us, I mean, as I said, we've got LinkedIn probably accounts that you can connect with us, or any other platform. We always try our best to be accessible.
Thank you so much. And guys, that was it. This is another episode of the Investor Chair. And today we said we're covering Afrimat. We looked into the human side of Afrimat, understanding the role they play into the community, so that you can keep on investing with a broader understanding of where you put your money. As always, guys, I am Ivan Sambo, your student investor. Thank you so much for watching. And don't remember, subscribe, like, and leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about today's episode. Thank you so much.